I'm Dr. Anna Laura, and I want to start by telling you a story that will definitely surprise you. It's about one of my patients, Jordy. He's 86 years old, and the most impressive thing is, he doesn't take any medication. None. But it's not because he distrusts medicine, nor because he believes he's immune to everything. The truth is much simpler. Over time, Jordy learned to listen to his body, to care for it with more attention, more presence, more respect, and that made all the difference. If you've ever lived with an older person, you probably know. It's not uncommon to see a box full of pills, one for blood pressure, another for sleeping, another for the stomach, and so on. In many cases, yes, these medications are necessary. But what impresses me is that, in Jordy's case, he managed to reach 86 lucid, energetic, and energetic by doing something much simpler than any miracle formula, a morning routine. Simple, consistent, and transformative. No, it's not magic. It's also not something that changes your life overnight, but I can say with absolute certainty that these 4 things he does every morning are responsible for him being where he is today. And it was seeing this change that led me to adopt this routine. Because yes, I've also woken up with pain, with that tiredness that seems like even sleep couldn't take care of, feeling like my body was no longer on my side. And look, I understand. Maybe you're going through this right now. But the good news is, you can change. And best of all, without needing fancy supplements, spending tons of money, or having to move to the middle of nowhere. You can start with what you have, right where you are. It only takes one thing: determination, a little consistency, and the courage to listen to what your body has been trying to tell you for a long time. Today, I'm going to show you the 4 habits that have transformed my days, and Jordy's too. I'll tell you what I do, why I do it, how I do it, and everything that's changed since I started. Maybe, just maybe, you'll discover something here that your body has been silently asking for a long time. But before we dive in, tell me something. How old are you? Where are you watching from? Leave a comment. I'd love to hear who I'm sharing this life secret with. I'm Dr. Anna Laura, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that it's never too late to take care of yourself, especially in the morning, because the way we start the day changes everything. Truly. Our body, when we wake up, is like a plant after a long night without sunlight, thirsty, delicate, slower, awaiting care. But unlike plants, which depend on rain or a gardener, our body depends only on us. During the night, everything slows down inside. Digestion continues, but at a slower pace. Blood circulates more slowly. The liver, kidneys, lungs, all there, working silently to cleanse everything we put inside the previous day. Food, emotions, even the air we breathe. When we open our eyes, we're not starting from scratch. We're at a transition point. It's as if our bodies are saying, "Hey, I'm ready to go, but I need your help." And that's where the secret lies. What you do in first hour of your day can completely change how you feel until bedtime. Energy, focus, digestion, even your mood. It all starts there. I know this because, for a long time, I had no routine at all. I'd wake up in a rush, drink black coffee, eat whatever I wanted, and go about my life as if I had to climb a mountain every day. By mid-morning, I was exhausted. Headache, backache, irritability, and that feeling of being older than I actually was. Today is different, and not because life has gotten easier, but because I've chosen to better manage how I start my days, and that's what I want to share with you. Everything began to change when Jordy, the patient I mentioned earlier, realized something simple yet powerful. The body doesn't need complicated solutions. It needs care, attention, and respect. And the ideal time to offer this to the body is first thing in the morning. Jordy understood something few people realize. The way you wake up often sets the pace for how you'll live the rest of your day. And if you repeat this pattern for days, weeks, months, it eventually becomes the way you live your life. It was with this in mind that he decided to build a morning routine that was simple, but purposeful. Nothing extravagant. Nothing that depended on expensive supplements or impossible schedules. Just 4 habits. Small but consistent. And over time, the results came. Fewer trips to the doctor, much better digestion, deeper sleep, more energy to walk, and as he himself told me, a feeling of lightness in my body that I hadn't felt in a long time. Each of the 4 actions he performs in the morning has a reason. He doesn't repeat them out of automatic habit, but because he understands exactly what each one does to his body. And today, I want to share the first one with you, the simplest, and perhaps for that reason, the most overlooked by most. Every morning, before even saying a word, before picking up her cell phone or turning on the television, Jordy drinks a large glass of warm water with lemon juice. Sounds too simple? And it is. But simplicity, when done with intention and consistency, can completely transform the way the body functions. And that's exactly what happened to him. For many years, Jordy suffered from constipation. He'd go days without being able to go to the bathroom naturally. He tried everything. More fiber, less bread, laxatives, fruit, but nothing completely resolved the problem. What's more, he'd wake up with heartburn, that uncomfortable feeling in his stomach and throat, which only worsened with his first coffee of the day, until one day, talking to a neighbor, he heard an unpretentious suggestion: try warm water with lemon, on an empty stomach, just for 7 days. Don't expect a miracle. He decided to give it a try, and by the 3rd day, the heartburn had disappeared. On the 5th, he began going to the bathroom naturally. From then on, he never stopped. The reason is simple. During the night, our bodies lose fluids. We become dehydrated while we sleep. So, when we wake up, our bodies are thirsty, functioning more slowly, waiting for something to help them wake up. When we offer warm water, especially with lemon, we give our internal organs a gentle push. Warm water, unlike cold water, doesn't shock the digestive system. It gently wakes the body up. Lemon, despite its acidic taste, has an alkalizing effect on the body. It stimulates liver function, encourages bile production, prepares the stomach for food, and also provides antioxidants, vitamin C, and minerals that strengthen immunity, and even help with skin health. It's as if he unclogs the pipes before starting the day, as Jordy himself likes to joke. Now, many people ask, but why not start with coffee? And the answer, according to him, is clear. Coffee dehydrates, stimulates abruptly, and when consumed on an empty stomach, can cause more irritation than benefits. Lemon water, on the other hand, follows the body's lead. It doesn't demand, it doesn't force, it just helps. Of course, this doesn't work for everyone. People with very sensitive stomachs, ulcers, or certain gastric conditions may have negative reactions to lemon. In these cases, a good alternative is a mild ginger infusion or simply plain warm water. The key is warm and conscious hydration. Jordy's recipe is simple: half a lemon squeezed into about 250 milliliters of warm water. Not boiling, just warm to the touch. He prepares it as soon as he wakes up and drinks it slowly, in silence, as a moment of reconnection with his own body. No sugar, no honey, no rush. And he always emphasizes that if someone is taking medications that affect the stomach or has kidney problems, it is essential to talk to a doctor before adopting this habit. This is just the first step in Jordy's morning routine. And if it's already brought so many benefits to him at 86 years old, imagine what it can do for you. Now, of course, not everyone will tolerate lemon water well every day, and that's okay. If that's the case for you, you can start by doing it twice a week, or talk to your doctor first. The most important thing here is the intention behind the gesture. Consciously hydrating your body right after waking up is like saying to yourself, "I'm here with you. Let's go together." And believe me, your body responds. It's grateful in ways we don't always notice right away, but which, over time, make all the difference. Now, let me tell you about the second habit to Jordy. This is what, according to him, wakes up the body inside and out. Right after drinking his glass of warm water with lemon, Jordy doesn't rush out of bed. He doesn't rush to get dressed or turn on the TV. He stays there for a few more minutes, silent, in his own thoughts. And he often says, it's not laziness, it's respect. Respect for one's own rhythm. Because before moving the body, he learned to waken the soul. This second habit is as simple as it is powerful. Breathe consciously and move gently. And look, he's no athlete, nor does he do yoga. He's never even stepped foot in a Pilates class. But he understands that the secret isn't in performance, but in presence. Breathing is the starting point. Most of us take short, rapid breaths, as if air were a scarce resource. But Jordy learned, and taught me a lot from this, that breathing is a bridge between body and mind. When we breathe deeply, with intention, something reorganizes inside. He sits up in bed, or remains lying down with his back straight. He places his hands on his abdomen and begins. Inhale through his nose for a count of 4. Hold it for 2 seconds. And then exhale slowly through his mouth for a count of 6. He repeats this about 5 times, slowly, sometimes with his eyes closed, sometimes with the window open, feeling the morning air on his face. But his focus is always on his breathing, being there, with himself. This is how it gives the signal to the body. We are waking up, but slowly. The mind slows down. The heart finds its rhythm. The day begins to take shape, without rushing, without fear. After that, he begins the movements. Nothing exaggerated. He starts by rotating his ankles, one at a time, then his wrists. He stretches his arms upward, as if trying to reach the sky. He tilts his head to the sides, makes small turns with his neck. Everything is slow, gentle. He once told me, with a smile on his face, it's like saying good morning to every little part of your body. And indeed, that's what it feels like. It's as if it's greeting the joints, awakening the muscles that had become immobile overnight, and allowing the blood to circulate more fluidly again. Before creating this ritual, his mornings were heavier. He'd wake up with back pain, swollen feet, and a clouded mind. But now, with these minutes of breathing and gentle movement, everything has changed. He feels lighter, more clear-headed, more connected, and the most beautiful thing about all this is that anyone can do it, even those with reduced mobility. You can just move your shoulders, your hands, roll your eyes, take a deep breath. It's not the amount of movement that matters. It's the intention with which it is done. Oh, and there's one more detail. Before he finally gets up, Jordy does something that makes me emotional every time I hear it. He says thank you, sometimes out loud, sometimes just in thought. He says, thank you for this day. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for this body, imperfect but mine. It may seem simple, even silly to some, but this gesture of gratitude changes everything. It doesn't matter if the day is going to be difficult, if it's going to hurt a little more, if it's going to rain or shine. He starts the day from a more grounded place, more present, more whole, because, deep down, it's not about running after time. It is about inhabit the body, of greet the soul, to start the day with the essentials, breathe, move, to thank. So simple, so profound. After waking up his body with the warm water and gentle movements, Jordy moves on to something that, according to him, is just as important, though often forgotten. Awaken the mind, but calmly. He told me that for many years, his mornings would begin with the television on. News, morning shows, noise. He said it was to stay informed, but within minutes he'd feel anxious, his chest tight, his heart racing, without even knowing exactly why, until one day he decided to pay attention to it. If I just woke up, why am I already feeling agitated? He wondered. And then he understood. The first thing that fed his mind every day was noise, confusion, too much information, too soon. And so, the day began to fall apart. That's when he decided to try something new. He turned off the television. He didn't pick up his cell phone. Instead, he sat by the window and just heard the silence. He told me that at first the silence was uncomfortable, scary even. After all, we're so used to filling everything with sound and distraction that being at peace with our own minds feels strange. But after a few days, the silence began to welcome. Since then, Jordy has been treating himself to between 5 and 15 minutes of silence or quiet reading every morning. Sometimes he reads a passage from a book that inspires him. He has an old notebook where, over the years, he has jotted down phrases, reflections, and verses that touch his soul. Simple words, yet full of meaning. Other times, he simply gazes at the sky. He watches the light change, the day slowly dawning, and silently, he thinks, I'm alive, and that's a miracle. This quiet moment, which seems so small, helps you start your day with a clearer, more centered mind. Instead of getting lost in the hustle and bustle of the morning, he feels like he's the one holding the helm of his own day. And if you're just starting out and don't know how to create this space, he gives some simple tips. Choose a quiet spot. It could be a chair by the window, a corner of the living room, or even the kitchen table. It doesn't take much time. 5 minutes is enough. If you want to read, choose short texts, things that bring calm, not rush. It could be a poem, a spiritual reflection, a thought that brings you back to yourself. And if you prefer, just remain silent, breathe, observe what's around you, and what's inside you. This has nothing to do with religion, nor does it require any great philosophies. It has to do with reconnect with yourself before giving yourself over to the world. Because before reading messages, attending appointments, or absorbing other people's problems, Your mind needs an anchor, and that anchor could be a phrase or silence. And only after taking care of his mind with this little ritual does Geordie leave for the fourth habit of your morning, feeding your body. But look, it's not just any breakfast. It's breakfast with intention. For many years, Geordie did as many do. He ate the first thing he could find, a quick piece of toast, a sip of black coffee, sometimes a piece of cake, sometimes nothing. He said he wasn't hungry, but by 10 a.m. he was already weak, irritable, and had no energy, he told me. It was like trying to drive a car on an empty tank. Today, his breakfast is different. It's not about eating a lot. It's about eat well. It's about offering to the body something nutritious, with respect. Because after so many hours without food, what you offer your body first determines how it will function for the rest of the day. And the difference is remarkable. He says he feels stronger, more emotionally stable, with lasting energy. What's more, he feels like he's caring for himself with presence and affection, and not just swallowing something to get ahead. This is Geordie's morning routine. 4 simple but profoundly transformative habits. Warm water with lemon, to hydrate and awaken the body from within. Gentle movements and conscious breathing, to wake up the body with respect. Silence or inspiring reading, to bring clarity to the mind. A nutritious breakfast, to supply the body with what it really needs. None of this requires money, excessive time, or special tools. It just asks presence, intention, and a little consistency. And if he, at 86 years old, reaps so many benefits from this routine, who knows, maybe you too will find in it something that your body and mind have been asking for a long time. Geordie's 4th habit is perhaps the most underrated by many people, but according to him, it was one of the ones that most transformed his health over the years. Breakfast with intention. He told me that for a long time, he did what most people do. He'd leave the house without eating anything, or grab a quick bite. A cookie, a loaf of white bread, a chocolate drink. He'd say he wasn't hungry, or that he didn't have time. But by 10 a.m., I was already headache sick, sleepy, lacking energy, and completely distracted. I thought it was normal, that everyone felt this way, he told me, until I realized that the problem wasn't the body. It was the way he started the day. That's when he decided to change, little by little, without exaggeration, but with presence. Today, at 86, Geordie's breakfast is simple but powerful. Always includes some source of protein. It could be a boiled egg, a few spoons of natural yogurt or some white cheese, the kind without much salt. Also, Hasa fresh fruit, sometimes an apple, other times a piece of papaya, half a banana, whatever you have at home. He usually adds a handful of nuts, seeds, or chestnuts, which provide good fats and help you feel fuller for longer. Instead of white bread, he prefers a slice of real whole wheat bread or toast made with oats. And instead of traditional coffee, which has often left him with heartburn or jitters, he now drinks a gentle infusion, chamomile, ginger with lemon, or digestive herbs. "My stomach thanks you, and so does my mind," he often says. He avoids everything that is highly processed, sugary, or artificial. Cookies that promise energy, colorful cereals, industrialized drinks. Because I learned, doctor, and I learned the hard way, that these foods lift you up with a false push, but knock you down right after. Geordie remembers a time when he thought chocolate milk and a few cookies were enough, but within an hour, fatigue, a headache, and difficulty concentrating would set in. Changing this was, according to him, one of the wisest decisions of your life. And for those who say that they don't feel hungry in the morning, he leaves a piece of advice with affection. You don't need to start with a lot. Start small, but nutritious. A handful of almonds, half a glass of natural juice, a hot tea. Little by little, your body will start asking for what it really needs again, because the body never stopped being hungry. It just got used to not being listened to. And for those who believe that eating well is expensive or complicated, he also has a ready answer. You don't need exotic ingredients or fancy recipes. A piece of fruit, an egg, some cooked oatmeal, that's already a powerful breakfast. What changes everything is the intention. Over time, he noticed the effects of this change. More mental clarity, more emotional stability, a better mood, even on Mondays. But most importantly, he says, is the feeling of taking care of yourself, to start the day with affection, like someone who looks at their own body and says, I thank you. And when people ask me if all this really makes a difference, I always remember the phrase Geordie told me after his last doctor's appointment. He went for a checkup, routine tests, and the doctor, who's been seeing him for over 10 years, looked at the results, leafed through his chart and said, surprised, "Your exams are better than those of many 60-year-olds. What are you doing?" And Geordie replied, in his usual calm and good-humored way, "I'm just minding my mornings. I'm just respecting my body." Of course, not every day is perfect. Some days he wakes up later, others he forgets to take a deep breath. Sometimes he doesn't have lemon for his water, or he ends up eating something he knows isn't good for him. But do you know what he learned? The secret is not in perfection. It's in returning, coming back, starting over, moving forward. And that's what keeps him lucid, light, full of life at 86 years old. It wasn't a magic formula. It was a daily choice, made with awareness, simplicity, and presence. And maybe that's what's missing in your mornings too. Geordie always told me something that stuck with me. The important thing is not to do everything perfectly. It's do it consistently, to come back again and again, not out of obligation, but as an act of love for myself, and that touched me deeply. Because it's true. Over time, he understood that it's not just the what you do, but how do you do it. It's not just about drinking water with lemon. It is the moment you sit down, silently, calmly, and says to the body, "Good morning, I'm here for you." It's not just about stretching your body. It is the connection that is created with each muscle, with every joint, with that silent thank you feel when you move without pain. It's not just breakfast. It is the intention, how you choose what you put on your plate, the way you chew, the way you savor, the way you start your day taking care of yourself and not just feeding your stomach. And when these gestures stop being an effort and become born from within, that's where the real transformation begins. Over time, many people who listen to me or read me end up asking the same questions. Honest questions, ones I've had myself before. And since I believe that talking is a form of caring, today I want to answer you with the same affection I would answer Geordie, as if we were sitting side by side, having a cup of tea. "Doctor, is it too late to start this routine if I'm already over 80? It's never too late. And I say that with absolute certainty. Geordie didn't start all this when he was young. He started with the years on our backs, in pain, tired and with doubts, just like many people who are listening to me now. But the body, even the oldest, still responds to care. He recognizes when he's being respected. Changes may take a little longer, yes, but they will come. Every gesture counts. And even if you're 90 or older, starting with small habits can make you feel more alive than ever. What if I have limited mobility? Can I adapt these habits? Of course. None of this is competition. It's not about physical exertion, nor about moving like an athlete. It's about presence, about doing what is possible, within your conditions. If you can't get out of bed easily, you can start with conscious breathing while still lying down. If walking is difficult, you can do it movements with the arms, ankles, neck. If you have little strength, you can simply move your fingers with intention. What matters? It's not how much you move, but with what conscience do you do this? There's always a way to adapt. The secret is in the attitude, not the form. What if I skip a day? Will it ruin everything? No way. We're human. Not every day is the same. There will be mornings when you have early appointments, visitors at home, are too tired, or simply don't feel like it. And that's okay. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Don't turn care into demands. What matters is, come back with affection the next day, as if resuming a conversation that was left for later. What does good it is not the rigidity, is constancy with flexibility. Come back whenever you can. That, yes, transforms. Do these habits replace medication? No, and it is important that this is clear. Geordie doesn't take medicine, but not because I despise medicine, but rather because, in his case, his current health allows it, and according to him, he owes much of this to the habits he's developed. But if you take any medication, don't see these habits as substitutes. See how complements. They help your body function better, respond with more vitality, perhaps even reduce certain discomforts. Always, of course, with medical guidance, especially if there is a specific condition. Taking care of the mornings does not exclude treatments, improves care. But what if I don't have time in the morning? That's a question I hear often, and I understand completely. Everyone's routine is different, but I'll tell you something honestly. You don't need much time. Conscious breathing can last 2 minutes. Lemon water takes less than 5. Stretching can be done, while the infusion heats up. Reading or silence can accompany you during breakfast. It's not about a have time. It is about give intention to the time you already have. Because what really transforms, it's not the amount of minutes, but the care with which you live them. And to close, I want to repeat something that Jordy said to me one of the last times we saw each other. I started all of this thinking I was taking care of my body, but in the end, I was taking care of myself as a whole. And maybe that's the key. It's not about perfect rituals. It's about coming back to yourself, listening to yourself, giving yourself what you need, with kindness, presence, and love. You deserve it, and so does your body. If one day you can give yourself 15 quiet minutes in the morning, wonderful. But if you only have 5, what 5 minutes be yours for real, aware, present? Because a small habit done with love and constancy has much more power than 1,000 grand plans that never come to fruition. After so many years as a doctor and, above all, as someone who also seeks to live better, I have come to a conclusion that I want to share with you today with all my heart. It's not just about living for many years. It is about live well, with light, with dignity, with joy. When we're young, we're always looking to the future. We think we have plenty of time. But as we get older, as Jordy taught me, we understand that the future begins every morning, and it is there, in the first minutes of the day, that we plan what the rest will be like. There are no magic formulas hidden in laboratories. Sometimes the most powerful things are in the simplest things: a glass of warm water, a slow breath, a gentle stretch, a breakfast made with intention. Small gestures that, when repeated with respect and love, become pillars of a lighter, more lucid, happier life. And I don't want you to do it all tomorrow, or try to change your whole life all at once. Nothing like that. What I propose to you is much simpler. Try it only one of these habits. Just one. This week. Calmly, with care, without rushing, without pressure. Give yourself a few minutes of real care, and just observe. You may find yourself feeling more energy, or that your thoughts are less embarrallados, or until your spirits, for no apparent reason, rose a little. And if that happens, even if just a little bit, it was worth it. Because remember this, never underestimate the power of a morning well spent. What you do in the first few minutes of your day can influence every hour that follows. And so, day after day, we transform an entire life. Now tell me, which of these habits will you try first? What do you already do in the morning that helps you feel better? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them. After all, we all have something to teach and something to learn. Age doesn't matter. Thank you for following me this far. If my words have planted something good in you, even if it's just a little bit, I'm truly happy. And if you can, like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone you love who might need this reminder. It is possible to feel better. It is possible to start over. See you soon. And until then, take care of your body as you would take care of someone you love very much, because in the end, that someone is you.